Welcome back to the channel, boys. Fablinski's coming at you next with the series of the Falling Star build. Now, if you've been paying any attention to YouTube recently or just the Destiny community in general, you will know that this exotic is just absolutely insane. It pretty much turns thundercrash into the best DPS super, if not one of the best DPS supers in the game. That's how potent it is. So I figured I would make a build about it and see if I can use it as much as I can, or just try and focus my whole build around this exotic and thundercrash. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So obviously we're on Middle Tree Striker Titan, which is Code of the Missile, which is the thundercrash super. Hurl through the air like a missile and crash into enemies, inflicting meteoric damage. I didn't even know that's what it said, but yep, that's pretty much the perk that I wanted to focus around. I mean, you got Inertia Override. Where is it? Inertia Override right here. Picking up ammo during a side reloads your equipped weapon and increases weapon damage for a short time. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of this subclass. I'm mainly just using it because of the super, and it's absolutely cracked with this exotic. But honestly, I feel like this is more of a PvP subclass, at least in my opinion it is. But with this exotic, it turns it into a PvE subclass, I guess, for the super. But honestly, all the other perks, I wouldn't really use them in PvE if it wasn't for this exotic. As for my loadout, we're using a Heritage. We got Auto-Loading Recombination. We're using an Ikelos SMG with Threat Detector Demolitionist. Now, it's important that I use, or that you use if you're going to create this build, a weapon with arc energy. That's why I'm using Ikelos SMG, because I have some of the elemental well mods on and I want to use arc weapons so I can get those elemental wells to proc. So that's why we're using the Ikelos SMG. And then we got Cold Dweller, auto-loading cluster bombs. As for my stats, we got 26 mobility, we got 80 resilience, means my barricade is on a 21-second cooldown. We got 57 recovery. We got 20 discipline, and we have 104 strength, meaning my super on a base cooldown is 3 minutes and 48 seconds. But we got some elemental well mods plus orbs and stuff. We're gonna make this much faster. And then we got 26 strength. So let's go ahead and start with that helmet. We got a minor resilience mod. We got shotgun ammo finder. Finally, it's back in the game. It's been missing for pretty much since the start of the season, so I'm happy that I can use shotguns again and have some ammo with it. We got rocket launcher ammo finder, and then we got our first elemental well mod, elemental armaments. Weapon takedowns with a damage type that matches your subclass element have an escalating chance to spawn an elemental well. This is why I said that you want to use an arc element weapon, because of this mod right here, elemental armaments. So as long as I keep getting those kills with the arc weapon, it's going to spawn an elemental well, which is going to proc this whole build and get it going. On my gauntlets, we're using an intellect mod. Now we got double SMG loader. Now if you want to take this into the nightfall, you can just swap one of these out for overload SMG. And then we got elemental ordnance. Defeating combatant with a grenade spawns an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type. Now this is why I'm using a demolitionist weapon, because I want to be able to throw my grenades as much as possible, which again is going to spawn another elemental well as long as I get a kill with it, which is another way just to get my build going. And onto my chest piece, which is also my exotic piece of choice, Series of the Falling Star. Now this thing is insane. The armor perk that comes on is Glorious Charge. Greatly increase your thundercrash impact damage, gain an overshield that lasts longer the farther you travel before striking a target. And I feel like that second part is actually kind of slept on. I feel like a lot of people just go real close to the boss, boom, they just fly right into the boss, kill him, and that's it. Although that is pretty much what you're trying to do anyway. If you just stand a little bit far back and get a little bit of hang time and then hit the boss, you're actually going to get an overshield, and it lasts pretty long. I've gotten it to last maybe even near 20 seconds, but definitely like 16 to 18 seconds for sure. So you can have that, boom, if you don't kill the boss right away, like something in the battlegrounds, then you have an overshield, you can run away to safety pretty easily. Or if there's enemies swarming you, you have an overshield. So that second part is actually pretty good as well. I feel like it's just as good as the impact damage, because thundercrash, if you just hit them and then you die, well now you're dead. That sucks, right? So if you get that overshield, you got some protection, you're able to flee from the target or just have some more survivability. As for my mods, we're using a resilience mod. We got melee damage resist, concussive dampener, and then we got fonts of wisdom. Picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type grants you a temporary significant increase in your intellect, improving the recharge weight of your super. Now I don't know if it stacks with 100 intellect, like as you guys can see right here in the bottom right, I have 104 intellect. I'm not too sure if it stacks with that, but it feels like it does, because I do get my super pretty often. I'm not using any other like energy converter or whatever, just orbs of power that generate from my weapons and fonts of wisdom. So as long as I keep chaining these together, it lasts for 30 seconds. I can get my super back pretty often with this mod. On my legs, we got a minor intellect mod. We got rocket launcher scavenger, and we have invigoration and reduce melee cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. Now whenever you do damage with the melee, when you jump up and then like slam into the ground, you do get a nice bit of super energy depending on the amount of enemies you hit. So that is a nice little benefit of the subclass. And then we got Strength of Rasputin. Collecting a Warmind cell grants you melee energy. Now, you have two ways you can use this. You can either blow it up to kill the enemies or collect it if you don't have melee energy. Boom, you get like pretty much half your melee back. So you can actually chain this together and keep spamming your melee, which will generate you super energy. And onto my Titan mark, we're using a Resilience mod. We got a double bomber mod, so whenever I do pop my barricade, I get a nice little bit of grenade energy, which is going to allow me to throw grenades, get kills, proc those elemental wells. And then we got Elemental Light. Defeating a combatant with your super spawns an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type. So if I do happen to get the kill with my super, elemental well will spawn, and boom, I can already get my build going, get Font of Wisdom, get that nice intellect boost, get my super back as much as possible, and keep that cycle going. And here is my Titan fashion. I went with a thick boy look. I actually kind of like these arms, man. I don't know. If you guys ever played Halo Reach, it looks like Carter, I believe his name was. I think it was Carter, the one with the big shoulder piece and then the little one on the other side. I don't know, or Zavala looks like Zavala if you guys haven't played Halo Reach. But I don't know, I actually really like this look, and I love the helmet, man. This helmet is so nice for the Titan. You guys got to get this. But here's my Titan fashion, and if you guys like the shaders will be in the description below. So this build is pretty straightforward and pretty simple. All you got to do is really play and get a lot of grenade kills, or just use your arc weapon a lot, get a lot of kills with that. Pick up those elemental wells and your build starts going. So that's one of the beauties about this build, is that it's very simple play style. You get maximum effectiveness just by playing simply, and that's a good thing about it. But I personally just don't like the ballistic slam, or what is it, thunder crash, code of the missile tree for Titans. I think it feels very weird in PvE. Besides the super and this exotic, the rest of the subclass, I don't know. I don't like the melee. I don't like the inertia override. I mean, it's good for PvP, but in PvE, I'm not really thinking about sliding over ammo. I'm just picking it up, and it only lasts for like, what, 2 or 3 seconds. I can't really use it that much. So I don't know. That's just me. But the exotic with the super is just nuts. You delete strike bosses, raid bosses, just bosses inside of, you know, the battleground. Any type of boss you can just melt. And that is one really good thing about this build and using this exotic, is that no boss stands a chance. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter about anything. You will delete that boss. Now this build is kind of hard to show off in a little couple minute gameplay clips or whatever, because it's one of those builds that you notice over time. So right now you're just seeing kind of like just me playing and whatever, maybe using some grenades, getting some kills and stuff. But I promise you, this build, you will get your super a lot with this, because you're getting the elemental wells, you're getting orbs, and then the Font of Wisdom's going. You're getting really high intellect, plus you already have 100 intellect. I don't know if they stack, but it feels like they do. So you will get your super a lot. Like, again, it's just you cannot really show it off in a couple minute gameplay clips. So yeah, just keep that in mind. This build does work, although you may not seeing it right now. Honestly, that's all I really have to say about this build. It's potent. You guys have seen the other clips of people like 2-man or 1 flooring Aatrox and people just destroying tanks with the super, so you guys already know what it's capable of. So I don't really have much to say about it, but definitely try it out. Get this exotic, use it. It's a lot of fun to just delete bosses with the super, I will say. So definitely try this build out and let me know what you guys think. But if you guys like this content, please like, subscribe, and share. It truly helps me out a lot. You can also check out my other videos. Links are in the description below. I have a lot of crazy builds, so go ahead and check that out. And you might as well follow my social media. I have a Twitter and an Instagram, both at @fan_Bloonskis. But with all that being said, deuces.